Okay, welcome back in 2021 off season, New York Jets, specifically Breshad Perriman. If you're watching this video, you are as big a nerd as I am because we are nerding it out big time today. This is fun for me. This isn't so much regimented and organized. This is just kind of looking at Breshad Perriman's free agent status coming up for 2021. Anytime you're looking at a free agent, the first question you always have to ask is, do I even want the guy back on the team? And in Perriman's case, my answer personally is yes. Some of you may disagree with that, and the Jets front office may disagree with that. Personally, Perriman has enough physical capabilities and has produced enough during his career to where I want him back on the team. The second question, and this is the most important question, and this is the one that a lot of people just tend to skip right over for some unknown reason, is at what price do I want him back on the team? And you have to ask this question no matter who your free agent is. I don't care if you love the guy. I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes and you love the guy to death and he looks like he's going to be one of the greatest ever to play the game. You still have to ask, at what price do I want them back on my team? Because I can't spend the entire salary cap on them. So it's somewhere there's a limit. And that's the question that if you're part of a front office, you have to sit down and ask, okay, we want them back at what price? Now, Breshad Perriman in 2020 made $6.5 million. Breshad Perriman in 2020 gave me about 30 catches for a little over 500 yards. While he did contribute and he did produce something, I am not going to pay $6.5 million in 2021 to have Breshad Perriman back on the team, even though, yes, I want him back as part of the wide receiving corps. There is just absolutely no way. And if anybody else out there in the NFL wants to hand him $6.5 million to play for them next season, then they are more than welcome to have him, and I will thank him for the 1 year of service on the team. I want him back, not $6.5 million. Injury, non-injury, I don't care. I'm not paying $6.5 million for 30 catches and 500 yards. There's just absolutely no way. So then you have to ask yourself, what price are we talking about? And personally, I'm coming all the way down to $4 million plus bonuses. So let's talk about the $4 million first. $4 million cap hit, that's what I'm wanting, because I know that even though Perriman has the skills and he has produced a couple of times, at least yardage wise in his career, he's been inconsistent and he's been injury prone. And I just cannot under any circumstances take the chance that he's going to miss the entire year and me hand out $6.5 million for that. I'm not going to hand out $6 million for that. I'm not handing out $5 million for that. It would be different if we were talking about somebody like Jamison Crowder, who is rarely injured, who produces almost every single season, and who is making, I think, $11.5 million this season. Injuries aren't a huge concern for me with Crowder any more than they are with any football player, but they are a huge concern with me for Breshad Perriman. So in that situation, I'm not willing to hand out $5 million. What am I willing to hand out? $4 million cap hit. If worst comes to worst, and Perriman, after the first game of the season, gets injured and he's out for the season, I have a $4 million cap hit. I'm not getting stuck with something heavy. That breaks down, for those of you who care, $3 million base and a $1 million signing bonus. Basically, that is the guarantee for one season. Personally, I'm going to offer Perriman a 2-year deal. I'd like to have him on the team for 2 seasons at these kinds of prices that we're talking about, if he wants to come back and play for those prices. So I'm offering a 2-year deal, $4 million cap hit per season. $3 million of that is base. $1 million of that is signing bonus for each season. So for those of you who are keeping count, 2 years, I'm down to my GAS, my guaranteed at signing, and this is so important. Again, so many people skip over this. If I'm the general manager, if I'm the front office, I care about this number right here. What's the number that I've got as a cap hit every season? If I'm the agent or the player, I'm concerned about this number right here. $2 million guaranteed at signing. If Breshad Perriman gets an injury after he signs this deal and he never plays football again, he is at least guaranteed $2 million. And that's it. I'm not on the hook for millions more. He's not completely out, even though as devastating as the injury would be, at least he's getting the $2 million. And that's what I'm offering. I'm not offering more than that because of the injury history and the injury concerns. I'm just not offering any more than that. And somebody very well may be. You know, there are teams out there, and I haven't looked all the way across the board this year. There are teams out there who are desperate for help at wide receiver, and they may be more than happy to sign Perriman to another one-year deal at $6 or $7 million. And you know, if they are, I totally understand that. I wouldn't criticize them or their situation. And of course, Perriman should go get it if he can. And I'm more than happy for him to take this deal and shop it around the league. You know, how long does my offer stand? Well, as long as I have money to make it stand. You know, no matter what, I'm planning on drafting somebody at wide receiver. I'm planning on taking some money and putting it at tight end and running back. So no matter whether he does or doesn't come back, this offer will stand for as long as I have the money. And if the money's gone, then the offer is gone too. So I'm not going to put any pressure on him to decide in 3 days or whatever. When the free agent market opens, if he wants to test it, as well he should. If I were his agent and the Jets offered this kind of a deal, I would want to test the free agent market if the Jets were willing to give me time. So I would at least want the first couple of days of free agency, the first 2 or 3 days. Don't think the Jets are going to spend all their money in the first 2 or 3 days. They might, but I don't think they're going to do that. And at least give me 3 days to kind of get feelers out there and see if anybody wants to top this offer. But if I'm the Jets, this is what I'm offering right here. $4 million per season. $3 million of that each season is base. $1 million of that each season is a signing bonus. And the guaranteed at signing is $2 million. Now, let's get over to the bonus side of this thing. And I've got a lot stacked here on the bonuses. I've got yardage bonuses. A lot of NFL teams believe in catch bonuses. I don't like the receiving bonuses, the receptions bonuses. I like the yardage bonus, okay? Why is that? The reason for that is if a player's bonuses are based exclusively on catches, on receptions, then they are looking to me to simply feed them the ball and accumulate their catches. And a catch from them may or may not be anything good for the team. If we base it on yardage, if we start to put together these yardage bonuses, and I've got 400 yards, 600 yards, and 800 yards. If we have yardage bonuses, then the player now, he's still looking for me to feed him the ball, yes, but now it's up to him to think about fighting for those extra yards once he gets the ball. It's also up to him to start thinking about, even before he catches the football, how he can position himself to make yards after the catch. And those are the two things that really kick in here. Yes, he's still looking for me to get him some touches and get him the football, but now the player is thinking about yardage, and the yardage is what helps me as a team. Him catching the football 30 times may or may not be a good thing for me. If I'm feeding him the ball off of screens just to get him touches or short routes, may not be a good thing for me at all. But if he's thinking about racking up yardage as the season goes along from the very get-go, then that's something that helps me out as a football team. And that's the reason that I really, really prefer yardage bonuses by far. And there are some teams who do the yardage bonuses. And, you know, it would be different for a slot receiver. For a slot receiver, I would probably have a mix of catch bonuses and yardage bonuses because they're not high yardage guys anyway. But for a receiver like this is somebody who's a downfield threat. This is somebody who has the physical tools to get yards after the catch. This is somebody that I want thinking about yardage the entire season, and that's what's really going to help me out. So the bonuses here are based on yardage exclusively. 400 yards, if he reaches the 400-yard mark, that's going to get him an extra $500,000 for 2021. That's a likely to be earned a bonus. Because why? Because he got 500 yards in 2020. We are really nerding out here, folks. So if you're hanging with me, I appreciate it. That's a likely to be earned bonus because he already got 500 yards in 2020. So if I set the mark at 400, which is really easy, he's got another 500,000, pretty easy. He's passed that mark 3 times in his career. So really, in all essence, and the actual cap number for me will be, as I head into the season, it will be $4.5 million because it's a likely to be earned bonus. 600 yards bonus, a full $1 million if he passes that. And by the way, I'm accumulating these. These aren't substituting for each other. So the point being, if he's got the 4 million, he gets 400 yards. Now he's got 4.5 million. If he gets up to 600 yards, now I've already got him at $6.5 million. I'm sorry, $5.5 million. And then if he passes the 800-yard mark, I'm going to tack on another $2 million, which puts him at $7.5 million, which is more than he's ever made in a single season in his career if he gets past 800 yards. We've seen him, and I said on the previous video that I think his two good seasons were in 19 with Tampa and in 18 with Cleveland. It was not. It was 19 with Tampa, and it was his rookie season with the Ravens. We've seen him, I think, in one season get 640 yards, 670 yards. So I know for sure he can get to the 600-yard bonus. And I think when we look at his career and we look at his potential, I think he can get to 800 yards. So we're not pushing these bonuses out here to unreasonable places. And if he starts checking them off here, this number, $4 million, very easily grows to $7.5 million. And the benefit of that is, for me as a franchise, this is all I'm really on the hook for. And by the way, if he gets injured the first week, and we see it every year, we see guys get injured for the season in the very first week of the year. And if he's one of those guys and he's got the injury history, all I'm on the hook for that one season is $4 million. And if I just decide to release him right then and there, all I'm on the hook for is $2 million. So that's why I like it. And the reason that if I were the player, I'm going to shop this deal around. I'd love to just have a 1-year deal for $6.5 million or a 2-year deal for $10 million. I'd rather have that. But if I'm the player, I at least know I'm getting the $2 million. And I have some reasonable bonuses here. Now, his agent's going to hate this deal. I'm not going to tell you who his agent is. You can look it up on Google. His agent's going to be telling me all kinds of things about, well, your quarterback sucked this year, and you didn't give him the ball enough this year, and he was injured this year, and it was his first year in the system, and et cetera, et cetera. Listen, for $6.5 million, I can do a lot more on my football team than 30 catches for 500 yards. Did it help? Yes. Was it a production? Yes. Was it a contribution? Yes. I'm not paying $6.5 million even for that. Even if I knew that's what I was getting, I want more than that for my $6.5 million. So that's why I'm not moving off of this. I am willing to negotiate just a little bit here. If he just wants a 1-year deal for $4 million, fine, we'll give it to him. But then he's not getting all these bonuses. He's not going to want that. That's as far as I'm going. This is the core. This is the GAS. This is the bonuses. I've got over here, if we're really negotiating tight and they want more, if it gets to 1,000 yards, I understand, a lot of these players only get one payday. You get the rookie contract, and if you're fortunate enough to be in the league long enough, you get your rookie money. That's not a lot. For NFL money, it's not a lot. And you usually, for most players, you get one chance. Forget the quarterbacks; they're in a world of their own. You get one chance to make real money. And if Breshad Perriman by chance makes 1,000 yards in 2021, has absolutely a career season, I understand he's going to want to cash in on that. And so I built in an option here, a player option. You used to see these all the time in sports, especially over in baseball. You would see a lot of player options, and you just don't see too many of those in sports these days. And again, I'm not up to date on everything, but you don't see as many of them as you used to see. I'm willing, if he gets to 1,000 catches and he's had a career year and he wants to get back out on the market right away and cash in on that, I'm willing to put in a player option. Where he can opt out of that second season completely. If he does, though, then of course the second season goes away completely. He's got his $2 million signing bonus. I'm off the hook for anything else. So I'm willing to put that in right there. Also, this is another just kind of an incentive, a kicker. If he gets to the 800-yard mark, which he's never done in his career, but it's very much within reach for him, if he gets to 800 yards in 2021 for me, I'm willing to put in a $500,000 kicker on each of these things. His guaranteed money for the second year for 2022. Here's another $500,000 guaranteed for 2022. I'm willing to put that in on the 600-yard bonus. I'm willing to put that in here on the 800-yard bonus. That's like another $1.5 million that he could earn. Second season, if he gets to 800 yards, he could actually get up to $9 million in 2022 if he gets up to the 800-yard mark. And again, that's a lot there. I don't think his agent's going to like this deal at all. Most NFL players don't. You can't do these bonuses with a lot of positions. It's kind of tough. You can't do this at linebacker. We see linebackers every year who get over 100 tackles, and they're terrible in pass coverage, and they're terrible in run defense, and they're terrible in getting pressure on the quarterback. They just are good at cleaning up the middle and tackling the football, and it's very difficult to apply those bonuses in that situation. Same thing for an offensive lineman. I mean, it's very difficult to put in these bonuses. It's very easy to put in yardage bonuses here for wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs, even to some degree for quarterbacks, of course. It's very easy to put those bonuses in, and this is something that's very easy to do here for Breshad Perriman. I think I've covered everything. If not, oh well, we'll do it better the next time around. Thank you for listening. Have a great one. Goodbye.